I think we'll be able to hear if we're all here close like this.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Loretta, how do you know Miss Greer?
Well, she lived at Factory Village, and I also lived there. But I was very young, and my sister Nellie and Ethel were great friends. I don't think I remember Ethel from there because I've been too young, but from hearing people talk. And then after Ethel moved to Colebrook, we got reacquainted.
I see.
Isn't that right, Ethel?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct. Well, when would that have been? When did you move back to Colebrook?
I moved back to Colebrook to live. I didn't come back to Colebrook to live till 1962.
1962. And how did you happen to come back?
My uncle lived there, and I retired.
You retired and you came back to live with your aunt and uncle? And what were their names?
Jack and Nellie Greer.
Jack and Nellie Greer.
A brother and sister, my father and mother. Two sisters married two brothers.
Is that right?
Right.
Two sisters married two brothers. Guess we got talking doubles here. Yeah.
So that picture right up there.
That picture on the wall. Yes.
That's Charles Greer. He's my cousin. He's the only brother I ever knew because he was Uncle Jay's son, see? And my father and mother were Tyler and Bill Greer.
They were Bill and
Clara
Greer. Were your mother and father?
That's right.
I see. And this fellow here would be on the wall. Who was he?
He was Uncle Jay's son.
And what's his name?
Charles.
Mm. Well, did they live on that farm down there in Vermont?
Yeah, they lived there 40 years.
Do you know where that is, Lorette? Down where
Didn't the buildings burn?
Yes.
Yes.
The first house below the bridge.
I can't seem to place it now. I remembered the old farm there and Jack Greer's farm, but I don't.
Was that down where the Ruthias lived?
Oh.
Ruthia?
No.
No.
It's the first house below the bridge.
The Columbia Bridge?
So when you go Columbia Bridge, you turn left when you go over the bridge. The first house.
You know who I think lived there? Could that have been the Gormans?
I believe so.
I think that was Marie
and
Henry Gorman. And they had that big set of buildings there,
yes.
And it all burned.
And it burned.
Right. And it burned. Yeah. Well, we got that straightened out. Mm-hmm. And that was where they lived. And then did they move up to the uptown?
Moved up the village.
And where?
After my cousin died, they couldn't farm alone. My uncle couldn't farm alone, so he sold out to the Gormans.
That's this fellow here, when he died.
He died. He had what they call Lou Gehrig disease.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an awful disease. The Lou Gehrig. It's
yeah.
terrible disease. Yeah. And his name was Charlie.
I remember.
Oh, and then you lived down there on Depot Street.
I still own that place.
And you still have it. She owns it.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But before all that, Miss Greer, you lived out in Factory Village.
Right.
And can you tell us anything about that?
What do you want to know?
Okay.
What do you want? Can I help you?
It was called Factory Village because there were two factories there.
I got it. What factories were those, Miss Greer?
One was a cotton factory.
A carding factory?
And the other was a starch factory.
And did you live right there? Did you live right there at the corner before Carlton Hill corner? At Carlton Hill corner?
To get coffee over there now. King Coffee lives how he is.
That's just what I thought. Yeah, he does live there. That's very good, yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a carding factory and a starch factory. Who owned the carding factory?
William Loomis.
Loomis? What was, you've got a good memory. What was his first name? See, there was a James.
No.
Not James. There was a...
Just a minute, I'll tell you.
Yeah, okay. Take your time. We're not in a rush.
His name is Will Loomis.
Will?
Will Lewis.
Loomis.
Loomis.
L-O-M-I-S.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the carding factory?
He owns the cotton factory.
Well, how about that starch factory?
I don't know who owned the starch factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably was a company or something.
Yeah.
That was just across the bridge, you know, when you go down the Carlton Hill Road.
Sure. Yeah.
After you cross the bridge, you turn left. In fact, you're on that bank.
Right on that bank. Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to play there until my mother first started.
She didn't want you out there.
Well, we didn't, it just wasn't safe because it was old, you see, and the timbers fell down.
Yeah.
You lift up the chutes and play the starch.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Well, that little house on the other side of the river, did one of the Carltons live in that?
Yes.
Which Carlton was that, I wonder?
Well, they all lived there at one time, I guess. There's the old Carlton place.
The old Carlton place.
And then when Ella Carlton married Charles Cisco.
Yes.
And
yeah.
He farmed.
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is very interesting. She's got a good memory.
Yeah.
Very good
always,
memory. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. What did your father do? Was he a farmer out there, or?
He did most everything. He's a day laborer.
Mm-hmm. And
he worked on a farm sometimes. Sometimes he worked, most of the time he worked on the Main Central Railroad.
Oh, he was on the railroad in Colebrook, right? In Colebrook?
Main Central line.
Right in Colebrook. Yeah. Yeah.
Lime Ridge.
Yeah. Well, you live almost across from there, the old site, don't you? On Depot Street.
From who?
Where you live on Depot Street is almost across from the old railroad station, isn't it?
That's exactly.
So it's almost like being home. You know?
No.
Yeah. Where did you go to school?
Colebrook.
When you were a little girl, did you go to one of the country schools?
I went to school to travel down the road. You notice that old school that fell down.
What would be the name of that?
Factory school.
The fact? Did you go all 8 years there?
No, all but 1 year, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I went there I went there in 1908. Then I went to high school.
In Colebrook.
Colebrook Academy. I graduated in 1919.
1919. How did you get into Colebrook Academy? Do you have to come in? Or do you have to walk?
No, we had a team who drove.
You drove. Who?
Nellie's mother, Nellie's sister. Loretta's sister drove, so.
Loretta's sister, would she go in with you?
No, she was her own team.
She had her own team.
We had the mechanic kids, two girls. And she carried Loretta, she carried Leo.
Loretta married Leo. Yes.
And he rode to school with Nellie.
And, Leo went to school with Nellie.
Rode to school.
Rode to school with Nellie Greer.
Leo went to school, rode Loretta's sister.
With your
Nellie Davis.
Nellie Davis.
Nellie Davis.
Yeah.
Her name was Davis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but you went to school out there at the Factory Village School as a little kid, and then you went in town. What would you do with your horse all day while you were at school?
We had a stall.
Did they have one right there at the school?
No. We had Park Street.
Up on Park Street? Yeah.
That's the old kiddy house on Park Street.
Wonder where that is.
Well, there's a little brook goes down through there.
Yeah.
And it's the house before you get to the brook.
And you...
There used to be a cutoff. They call it Dugway.
Yeah.
You know what they call it, Dugway? You know why they called it the Dugway?
No.
Well, they wanted to run some mills over on Main Street. So they dug a hole, they cut out, diverted some of the water over there. And so that stream of water was called the Dugway.
And that came out right down by the... Let me see, that would be part of the Mohawk, really. Part of the Mohawk River?
Yeah, the water came from the Mohawk River.
Well, did a lot of people come and leave their horses there at the old Kidder house?
Just two.
Yourselves and...
I don't know.
Yes. What, Loretta?
My grandfather owned, Nellie kept her horse at my grandfather's barn, I believe. Wasn't that right, Ethel?
Okay.
See, he owned it's what was it? It's
Yeah.
Charlie Heath place then, the big white house. It's a kind of a apartment house now.
Used to be a hospital.
Yes,
And then Dr. Niddig had a hospital
Yes.
there.
Yes.
yes.
The old Nadig.
Native, yes.
Yes.
That was my aunt's husband, yes.
And is that the old Johnson place? Is that the Johnson?
Yes, yes.
Johnsons own it now.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the barn sat right about where that fellow has the furniture store now.
Yes. Right there at the corner of, that'd be Pleasant and Lombard,
Mhm.
wouldn't it?
Yes.
Almost across from the firehouse, but not really. No.
Fire station.
Yeah. Kind of near the fire station.
Yes,
Kind
Kitty
of.
corner.
Kitty corner to the fire station. Yeah.
I'll keep still.
No, don't. No. Do you mind? I'm going to just click this off and see how we're doing, okay? Do you ever remember a man by the name of Scott Carby?
Yes, I posed for him as a kid.
Go on. You didn't.
I did.
He lived up at the top of the hill. And you posed for him? What do you remember about him? Was he an awfully nice man?
Yes, he was an awfully nice man. He had a wooden leg.
He had a wooden...
He couldn't get around very well, so he used to sit.
I'll be damned. Is that right? And he'd sit, and what would you do? Walk up to his house to be painted, and then would he pay you?
Oh, yes.
He'd give you a little money,
I don't know, 50 cents an hour or something.
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Did your sister used to go up there? Did your sister go up there? Was she painted too?
No.
No. How about your brother?
I didn't have a brother.
No, I know you don't. No, I know you don't. You have a cousin. Yeah, just the two of you. Mm.
I had a sister, but she wasn't. My hair was black, and I had black eyes.
Yes, I see.
He wanted me.
And he wanted your black hair and your black eyes.
He painted Nellie Davis. One bit that Nellie and I were together.
Now Nellie Davis is Lorette's sister.
And as you look, we posed in front of a big bay window.
In front of a big bay window.
We had sofa pillows on each side. She was a blonde and had blue eyes.
And you were black.
I had black hair.
And black eyes.
I had red ribbon on my hair.
No, yeah.
And he took it, I didn't see what I was going to say. When you looked out that window, you looked out into a buckwheat piece. That's mustard color, you know.
What?
Buckwheat field.
Buckwheat field.
Buckwheat, it was growing.
Right out there. Mm-hmm.
So just mustard color.
Oh.
And then he didn't finish them. He took them back to Boston to a studio, and he finished them then. And he always said he had a show. Jordan matches usually, and people voted on which picture was the best. I liked them. As long as when I was in Boston, I used to go. As long as Mr. Cabot put on the show.
You would go to his show.
I used to always go. So he'd write me how much money he got for the photograph, which one he named him, and how much money he got. The picture that was the bay window.
And the hair ribbon.
You get $800 for that.
Wow. Wow. And that was the picture of Nellie and yourself. And what did he call the picture? Was there a name for it? No.
I can't remember what it was.
But all the time you were teaching in Boston, you would go as long as he was alive to his shows.
I always went to his show. I always get people to vote for him.
You'd get people to vote for him?
That's the best picture.
Wouldn't you like to know what happened to that picture?
Yeah, I don't know how it's hanging.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to know?
Rich people used to buy them because they were hand-painted.
Yes, yeah. Well, we've got a couple here in Colebrook. There's one at the bank.
Yeah, Mr. Gray at the bank is that beautiful one.
Yes.
He painted a lot of pictures.
And I didn't know that about you, though. And then he painted, you know who else he painted was Mrs. Drew, Iva Drew.
Yeah.
And she's in the library, her portrait. But he did you. Well, that is some interesting. But he was a nice-looking man.
Yeah, very clean looking man.
Yeah, nice man. He just came for the summer?
Yes.
How did he happen to come to Colebrook?
He's related.
Who was he related to?
He's related to the Grays.
To the Grays? How was that? Do you know?
I think they were cousins. The Bill and Miles Gray. Miles Gray would be the man that's in the bank. A picture of the man that's in the bank.
That would be a cousin, you think?
I think so. I'm not certain.
But that's how they happened to come over here. Come up here. They lived in Boston.
Yeah, they lived in Boston.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting, Lorette?
Yes, I love it.
Did he paint some more pictures of you, or just that $800 one?
Oh, no, he painted a lot of them.
You'd go up and he'd paint a while. And then he'd take them back to Boston and finish them up?
He called them sketching film.
He sketched.
To me, it didn't make any difference. He could have called them finished the very first day. He painted a beautiful picture of the bridge. And
the bridge, what bridge was that?
The Carlton Hill Bridge.
The Carlton Hill Bridge?
It was a covered bridge.
And at that time it was covered.
Yeah, so we used to sit there and paint on the wing. That's all right, on the wing. And so one day, Loretta's half-brother, Albert, you know, a little imp he was.
Albert was an imp?
He was my whole brother. He was my own brother. Albert.
Yes. You're right. I stand corrected. He was down there looking at Mr. Cabot paint, you know. He said, well, Mr. Cabot, you got it all in there but the sound. Mr. Cabot laughed. He said, that's the best compliment I've ever had.
It's the best compliment. Is that
so true.
That's a great story. Huh?
Yeah. Wonderful.
Now, he had a daughter.
Yes, her name was Jessica.
Jessica. And did you know her, too?
Yes.
Yes.
She came with in the summer.
She'd always come.
I didn't care for her especially.
No, she wasn't one of your favorites. No. Look at your brown eyes. I can see why you liked your eyes. They're brown, aren't they? Huh? Yeah. Yes.
Didn't Jessica try to be an actress? Wasn't she an actress?
So what?
Actress, didn't she? Wasn't she in show business? Jessica?
No.
No?
No. I want to say she could have, because I don't remember. But he also had a son, in Jerome.
Oh.
And Jerome had a stepdaughter who was very beautiful. And she was kind of jealous of her. So she didn't use it very well. So I never cared for her because she didn't use it. Didn't use Audrey. Her name was Audrey.
But Jerome, did he come to Colebrook too?
During his vacation, he did.
He did?
He didn't. He only had a certain length of time. His time. He didn't stay all summer.
I see.
Just came to visit.
But Audrey was a stepdaughter of Jerome's.
Jerome's.
Right.
Jerome.
Did Jerome marry? Did he get married?
Oh yes. His wife's name was Audrey.
Okay. Was he an artist? Did he paint? No.
I didn't get to know him very well.
Because he just came, yeah. Would he have been younger or older than Jessica?
Couldn't tell you, but
Yeah.
I thought he'd be younger.
Probably younger. Do you remember any of that?
I don't remember. I don't remember Jerome. No, I remember Jessica, but I don't remember Jerome.
I couldn't. If I should meet him, I wouldn't know him. But
No.
I know him when I was there, when he was up there. I knew him all.
Well, Mr. Carby, what happened to his leg? Was that an accident or was he sick?
I haven't know what.
To Mr. Carby's leg, so he had to have
I never knew.
He never knew. It was an accident, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, you never knew. Yeah.
So, do you suppose he was in the war?
What's that?
Do you suppose he was in the war, World War? Or
Excuse me.
he wouldn't be, would he?
I'm hard of hearing, too.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get what you said.
I said, would he be in a war?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
No. He could have been. His age would have been okay. He died in 1946, I think. 1946, but he was 80 something. So, yeah. We probably ought to talk a little bit more about this school business. So you graduated. You and your sister graduated in the same class?
Yes.
Yes, you both graduated together. And then what happened? Did you go to normal school?
I went to Plymouth Normal School.
You went to Plymouth. Did your sister go to Plymouth?
Yes, eventually.
She didn't go with you?
No.
No.
She went to Boston, Burdett Business College.
Oh, Burdett.
And then she transferred from Burdett. She got a job, but that didn't pay very much.
Where was that? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
So she transferred to Plymouth.
And she went to Plymouth?
She went to Plymouth and graduated and became a teacher.
And she became a teacher.
She became a teacher. And she taught in Poughkeepsie, New York High School.
Right.
For many years. I can't tell you just how many.
Long while.
For many years.
Well, meanwhile, where was Ethel teaching? Where was Ethel Greer teaching? Were you teaching down in Massachusetts, or were you up in Colebrook?
Well, I taught after I got out of school, high school, I taught 3 years in the rural schools.
The rural schools.
Because you had to. You went to normal school.
Would you remember which schools they were, Miss Greer?
Yes. The first school I taught in was the Reed School.
The Reed School.
And then I transferred from there because the children all moved away. All was just one family.
Just one family left.
All my children, all but 1, 2, were just off one floor. The Reed family, they were all Reeds. And I went up to the Forbes School.
And then you went to Forbes.
Because they couldn't keep any teachers up there, just way back in the woods. And I went to Plymouth Normal School, and I taught there before I went to school.
You taught in Plymouth and then went to school.
No, I taught first for the high school.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to Plymouth. After I got out of Plymouth, I taught in Littleton for years.
What did you teach? General course or a grade? Or?
I taught a grade. I taught 6th grade, 2 years, and I taught junior high, 7th grade.
You liked it?
Yes.
I bet you were a good teacher. Kids, I bet, liked you.
I stayed there. I taught 42 years.
You taught 42 years. You had to like it. You had to like teaching.
I like teaching. I like kids.
And you like, that's a good combination. Isn't it, huh?
Yes.
That's wonderful. 42 years. And that you ended up down in Winthrop?
With my students.
Yeah. And were you still teaching like 7th and 8th in Winthrop?
No, I taught 6th grade one year.
Yeah.
Everybody told me to be so hard I couldn't teach down there. So I tried it, but I went down to 6th grade, and I didn't like 6th grade. I didn't like 6th grade material. So I decided I'd go back to I like the junior high children. They were hard, but I liked them.
You liked the junior high level?
I liked the junior high, in the 7th grade, 8th grade.
Yeah.
So I taught it there, and then I went over to junior high school, and I taught 35 years.
That's a while. That's a while. Would you come back to Colebrook in the summertime to see the family?
I came back and I spent all my summers.
Every summer you came home?
Well, not everyone, because 2 summers I traveled.
Good for you. Where'd you go? Did you go far away?
I went to California.
Yeah, far away. Yep.
2 times.
Did you have a good time?
That's a good time, yes.
Yeah.
We camped all the time.
You camped out in parks, in the state, the government parks?
We tented.
Tented. Oh, that must have been such fun. And did you go to the Grand Canyon? And
I went to all of them. I went to Grand Canyon. I went to all the caves except Mammoth Cave. I didn't go to Glacier National Park. I went to Yellowstone.
You went to Yellowstone. Well, you've been places I haven't been. That's wonderful. But you've been to California, too.
I went twice.
Twice to California, yeah. But other than that, you'd come back to Colebrook for the summer vacation.
What was left of it?
Yeah.
We spent the whole summer. I got back just in time to go to school.
Go back to school. Yeah. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, your mother and father, did they ever move into the village, or did they always live out there where Ken Crawford lives?
My father worked on the railroad, and after we got through school, when I was going to school, my mother moved to Portland. He was stationed in Portland.
Oh, he went over to Portland, Maine, in the railroad, for the railroad.
He was building a bridge there. So he stayed there. She kept house, they kept house.
Yeah.
And they lived there. She died. So
In Portland.
in Portland, father in Portland. And he died next year
In Portland.
in Portland.
So
He
then
was killed.
Building the bridge?
No, he fell off of a building 15 feet.
Oh, good.
Yeah, hit on his head.
Oh, dear.
He was knocked off. He didn't fall off. He knocked off.
You got
Someone lifted a hoist. They put the planks or something up, and then they weighed him down with sandbags.
yes.
And then they tied ropes to pull up weights, different things. So they hauled to look out. They're thinking they're going away. The job was finished. So they hauled, look out, Billy. And there's no place to go. So the horse took him down.
Oh, isn't that awful? Yeah. Awful thing. Yeah. Well, weren't you a lucky girl to be able to go off to normal school and learn to be a teacher and travel and everything?
Well, I had good health.
And you had that's the most important.
I was curious.
And you're curious, and that's important.
So I worked.
And you worked hard.
I had to go.
Yeah. I wonder if you know any of my family. My mother was a Jameson.
I know the Jameson Colebrook.
Yes, well, my mother was a Jameson. Lived on Colby Street. Lila. There was Pauline.
I went to school to Pauline.
You went to school to she was my aunt. And then there was Marion.
Ruth.
And then my mother Lila. And then Aunt Ruth. And then Aunt Dot. There were 5 girls. There were 5 of them. Yeah. And they lived.
I knew them all.
And you knew them all.
I went to school with them all.
I'll be done. And Aunt Pauline had you in school. I'm glad I asked you that. I didn't know that. No, that's interesting.
His name was Charles Jameson.
You got it. You just got it right. Charles Jameson. He had that store down at the end of Colby Street, which at one time was on Spring Street. They moved it down to be down by the railroad tracks. Maybe did you know that? Probably didn't know that. Maybe.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But that was Charles Jameson in his store. And then he had a brother, Al, and he had horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what was his name again?
Al Jameson.
Yeah. He's a blacksmith.
You got it. You've got it. You don't forget a thing.
Don't miss a trick. No.
I like him. He used to shoe my horse.
Is that right? Yeah. Well,
fix my wagon and fix my sleigh, whatever I had done. He always did it.
He always did it, Uncle Al.
He was a comical looking man.
He was a funny looking man.
He was a nice man, but not a nice man.
But not very handsome.
No.
No.
He always looking around. When he got so he drove a car, you didn't dare to pass him.
Oh dear, I'm going to tell my Aunt Dot that.
Yes.
Yep. Did you used to always go in did you ever ride just in a saddle on your horse, or did you always go in a wagon or carriage?
I used to ride the saddle for fun of it.
Yeah.
About the time we went to get the apples, we went horseback riding. We wanted to get some apples, so we all five of us. And some man, Mr. Little, Leon Little. He was one of them went, and his boy went, and his wife went, and my sister went, I went, and we had on bloomers. I had on some bloomers, those big bloomers, they were years ago. Mm-hmm. And so when we got the apples, the horses were fooling, we were all along anyway. So the horses, one horse wanted to get ahead of the other horse, so they got to go in and get to jump in the apples, put the apples in their bloomer legs. So we went to the apple legs.
That must have...
So when we got down to my house, we wanted to save our apples, so I got out and put my apples in a bucket. Next morning they were all brown.
They jumped around.
They jumped to death.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, that is funny, isn't it? What Little would that be, I wonder? Was he the sleigh maker? No. Do you know what Little? What was Mr. Little's name?
Leon Little. He was
Little?
He was a farmer.
He was a farmer. Mm-hmm.
If you go out by that, they used to have a summer house. They used to run a summer house. He farmed, but he also, she took in roomers, boarders.
Who would that be, Lynette? What house are we talking about?
You know where,
on the hill.
Do you know where you don't know where the Rob Blakely place is. I was trying to think. Jake's lives there now.
Oh, okay.
Alberta and Jake's.
That was where they lived, the Littles?
Yes,
the Littles?
That was a home base.
And that's where you went appling? You went out to get the apples?
No, the Tanny went with us.
They just went.
Yeah, and then you all went together.
We went to an old abandoned farm.
Mm-hmm. We always used to do that. Yes. Yeah.
Nobody got the apples. They just dropped on the ground.
They do now too.
Yes, I imagine so.
Oh, how do you like? Were you happy moving back to Colebrook when you retired?
Yes.
Yes. Do you see a lot of changes in Colebrook?
I don't know anybody in Nagub Street.
Don't know anyone. Well, I wish you were there now. I'd know you. Lorette knows you. But you go uptown and Glee, Kelsey, she's your cousin.
Well, I know a lot of people around, but Like I used to, you knew everybody.
Yes, and it isn't that way now, is
No,
it? It
no.
just isn't.
And even the people that I do know, I don't remember because they've changed, they've grown
Sure.
old.
Yeah, right.
I don't recognize them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So you came back, and did you come back and take care of your aunt?
Oh, she didn't live very long.
After you came back, she didn't. No. No. And so you've been back here since 1962, I think. Is that what you said? Since 1962?
I think that's when I came back.
Yeah.
I retired in 62.
Yeah, and you probably came right along back.
Whether I came back that year or next year, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I stayed down there a couple of years after I retired.
Oh, you stayed down there in Winthrop? Mm-hmm. Did you like it down there?
Yes, I liked it.
You liked it? Yeah.
Right. It's right out on the water.
Yeah. The ocean. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Mm. But to get back to these factories, that the starch factory and the carding factory, were they quite busy and quite active when you were a little girl living there?
The starch factory wasn't active at all.
That is all done.
I was out.
Yeah, that was out.
The cotton factory I played in.
Yeah.
I used to work in it. I used to tend to, they didn't pay me anything.
But you go over and help.
We go over and take
away.
the wool after they've been cut down a little roll like they used to spin. I'd take that and put it in the next machine.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I helped quite a lot.
But never got paid.
No,
That's life. There you were working, didn't get paid.
I wasn't a very big kid.
No, you probably, they probably didn't think you needed to be paid. No.
My mother thought I had more bother than I was help. But I didn't. I worked.
Yeah, you worked. Yeah. Yeah.
I kept busy.
Yeah. Your sister she's still alive. Your sister?
Yeah.
Yes. So they're the two of them.
93, 17th of November.
She was 93. Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
Maybe 95.
95.
24th of February.
Oh, you got one coming right up. Got a birthday coming right up. Here we are, January 17th, and just 6 weeks. Yep. I'm sure you didn't. When did you learn to drive the car?
You don't really learn to drive a car. It just happens.
Just happens.
You work around the tools, hand tools.
Did you have to get a license?
Didn't in those days.
Didn't have to have a license.
No.
No, just go. No.
I don't remember when I got my first license, but I took it. You had to take a test. I remember that I took it. The man, I was in Vermont. I had my car in Vermont then. I went up to take my license, take my test, my driving test. They gave it to you on the Gale Road. That's the road to Canada. So I remember I said when I got back, he gave me my license. And I said, well, I should. I said, my tracks are all straight coming back from Canada, not many of them are.
Yeah, I tell you. Oh, you couldn't have had electricity or anything like that when you were a little girl out there?
No.
No.
We didn't have any.
No.
We didn't have electricity in Goldbrook all our life.
You never did?
No, not when we lived there, but I put in electricity after when I rented a while.
Oh, out there, out in Kittyville, you rented?
No, not Kittyville, Factory Village.
In Factory Village, you rented?
After my father and mother, we closed the house and went to Portland to work.
Yes.
When my father got lame, he had rheumatism. When he got lame, he couldn't work on the railroad. He'd come home. He'd work around on the farm. He had to work on the farm.
Yeah.
He used to run on the boat sometimes.
Oh, he worked out there? That was a big operation, wasn't it, out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had the biggest farm of all.
Out there? Yeah. They raised all that food for the people that came.
It helped.
Uh-huh. I'll be done.
Mostly.
Do you remember Diamond Pond back then?
Oh, yes. I didn't go there so much. I did other places.
You didn't go there.
The Balsams was a place to go. Anyway, we'd go through the notch.
You like to do that? Go out through the notch?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty out there.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Yeah, right. Do you remember when that road was put in? When they went out there to build that dam out over there in Maine. Do you remember that?
the dam where?
I guess it was out in Maine, over in Maine.
Yes, was.
Yes.
All that cement, that dam went by our house.
Yeah.
Came to Cobra.
Yeah. Charles Jameson, hauled that out there.
Who did?
My grandfather, Charles Jameson, we were talking about.
We had the contract.
Yeah. He had a team of horses, and they took it right up over that notch.
Right.
Yeah. And you saw them go right by your house. Yeah. That was something.
Not only that, but it was built when I was going to school. And I used to meet those teams every morning.
Oh, you didn't? And they were big teams.
Big teams. They were always in the middle of the road, and the men were back behind the sled. We had to
watch out.
Sometimes I had to jump out and grab the lead nose ahead
to
stop them. They'd run over you almost.
Well, those were big teams. I would have moved out of the way.
Roads were narrow.
Yes, the roads were narrow. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know who had the contract. I didn't know. I remember.
Yeah. There's a picture in. There's a picture in one of the books, Colebrook, yesterday, and it shows those big teams. And
they were watering trough.
Yeah, down there. It's right down there in the corner there. That's where the trough was, and that's where the team's picture was taken, was right there. Yeah, yes, Lorette.
You got that off.
Want me to?
Who ran that?
Ella Reid.
And what did they sell?
Groceries. Tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where was that, I wonder?
The building is gone.
Do you know where the blacksmith shop was? Where I lived?
Yes.
It was directly across from where I lived, a little bit sideways. It's on the brook. It's right on the brook.
Was that the one that straddled the brook? Was that the one that was the blacksmith shop that straddled the brook, right?
But the other one didn't.
No. Oh. Well, there used to be a store down next to Gray's house.
Yeah.
That was another store, was it?
That was before my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was there a post office out there? Wasn't there a post office?
There wasn't any there.
None there. No,
Okay.
not there. That must have been later. I think.
There was one further up the river.
Up the river. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you had to go in town and do your shopping, to get your flour, and
Unless I go to Mrs. Reed's.
You go to Mrs. Reed's. You know where that is, Lorette.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lorette, didn't you live? If I got it wrong, didn't you kind of live? Well, where Barbara Newell?
No,
that wasn't you. That's somebody else.
No.
Where'd you live, Lorette?
Well, you know where the old dump used to be?
Of course, yes.
The house right opposite before you go to the entrance.
It's that little knoll.
Yes, the house upon the hill.
Yes, I know. Yes, you told me that. And somebody else lived in that house at Barbara Newell. You know which house I mean?
Judd Mary DeLong.
Yeah, DeLong. Yeah. And that's the girl and she used to sit for Scott Cabby.
Madeline. Ethel must remember Madeline DeLong.
Oh, yes, I know. Her birthday, same day my day, and she's 6 years younger.
Is that right?
In the same day, though.
Yeah.
That boy was born, that house.
This Charles was born?
This house where you just told me.
DeLong's house?
No, DeLong house.
Judd DeLong's house?
Mary DeLong.
Yeah, Mary, yeah.
How did that happen?
What?
How did he happen to be born there?
It is there.
And he lived there.
That must have been before Judd Mary lived there, right, Ethel?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Now, what Greer would that be?
Jack Greer.
Jack Greer.
And that was their only son, their only child.
They had one when he died, baby.
Baby. So it was just Charles.
He's the only one that grew up.
Yeah. Right. So you would do your grocery shopping. You would go get your groceries over to Reed's. Over to the Reed's.
We didn't buy. We just bought simple things.
Like flour?
No. We bought flour on the barrel.
By the barrel? In town? Go to somebody in town?
Grocery store. Grocery store.
Yeah. You wouldn't go over to Reed's.
Not for flour.
No, just little things.
Tea, coffee, soap.
Yeah.
Was that where Earl Frizzell lived in later years?
What's that?
Was that store where Earl Frizzell lived in later years?
Yes.
It was? It was there?
You live there?
Wasn't that where Lorette? Is that where Charette's lived?
Well, the house is gone now.
But in that little
Yeah, they did live there. Yeah.
Didn't they?
There used to be a store up on the hill from Jessica. Jessica
Kavanaugh?
lived there and it burned.
Yes.
Remember, caught on fire.
And there was a store up in there, Lorette?
Yeah.
Do you remember that store up on the...
Kind of on the knoll above Factory School.
Where?
You know where Factory School's at? Well, this store stood up on the hill like.
Oh, yes, I know. That's the Horton place. It used to be a shoemaker.
Yes.
What was that,
Yes.
Hawkins?
Horton.
Oh, Horton.
Horton place.
And that was a shoe place, shoe repair?
At one time.
Men's
Yes.
shoes, harnesses,
Yeah.
maybe?
Tap shoes.
Tap shoes.
And that-
Mended harnesses.
Yeah. You remember that, Lorette? No, way before your time.
No, she's too good.
Yeah.
When I knew it, Royal Pollard and his wife owned that, and he had a milk route, and she had a little store in the L part.
And that's after I moved away.
I guess so. She sold kerosene and I don't know what else.
That was after I left.
You had left.
Candy.
I probably was normal school or something.
Yeah,
Yes,
gone away.
yes.
Do you remember the first time you voted? Did you vote? Do you remember voting?
I always voted.
I thought you might. Do you remember being excited about that?
No.
No. Just always voted. Yeah.
Yes.
Would
It was your duty.
I wish everybody felt that way.
No,
Half the people in the country don't vote. How about the First World War? Do you remember much about that?
I remember a great deal about that.
You do. Did you ever know that George O'Neill?
Yeah.
O'Neill?
Yes, he's our only veteran.
And that's who the Legion Post is named for, and he got killed. Right? Yeah. And do you remember much about the war? About how did people feel about the war? How did they feel about the war?
They all put themselves took all their effort just to win it.
Yeah.
But they knit, they sewed, they had parties to raise money to buy war bonds, some saving stamps.
The whole country was behind it. Wouldn't you say?
Sure they were.
I mean, quite different than some of our other wars.
I know it.
You know. Yeah. Do you remember the Second World War? You must have been down in Winthrop then.
I was.
Yeah, you were in Winthrop. Right. Yeah. And then, of course, we've had wars, haven't we? We've had.
Don't say that when one stops, the other begins.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? But some of our recent wars, have been, a lot of people haven't supported them, and it wasn't like everybody pulled together like they used to in the First and Second World War,
No, because The win, whether we win or not, it depends on us.
Right. I wanted to get back here to the summer times and when you went to California. In the summer when you came home, when you didn't go to California, did you work anywhere, or did you just help out at home? And
I don't know what you mean.
uh,
When I went to California, it took the whole summer.
that took the whole summer. But when you didn't go to California,
I stayed home.
and then did you just work around?
I worked on the farm,
Yep.
burying,
In
doing
Barry,
housework, and
doing the regular things.
gardening, canning.
Yeah. Well, did you go to California with a friend from down in Winthrop?
No.
No.
I went to California from. I did too. Let me see who I went with. I forgot.
A teacher friend, maybe.
Yes, they were teachers. They were teachers. One was from Maine, Millnocket. And there was from Gardner.
Yeah.
Three was me.
That was quite a trip. Long way. Did you do the driving? You all take turns?
No, just two.
Two of you drove?
Two.
One was you?
No.
You drove, and then one
Mike was my car.
in your car. Yeah. What kind of a car was that, I wonder?
Hupmobile.
A what?
Hupmobile.
How do you spell that?
H-U-P.
H-U-P. M?
No, that's all I was doing.
H-U-P?
Well, we could. M-O-B-I-L-E, H-U-P, M-O-B-I-L-E, Hupmobile. Four-cylinder.
Four-cylinder.
Mobile.
Hupmobile. I like it. What color was it?
Black.
4 doors?
Yeah,
Yeah, 4 doors. 4 doors and black. I bet you loved that car.
I did.
Did you? I bet you did. It's a wonderful feeling when you have your own car, isn't it? You can go anywhere you want to.
It belonged to my father. When he passed away, I had it.
Oh, that was your dad's, and then you got it. You had it. I see. Yeah. Huh. Well, let me see here. I had a couple more little questions for you. You aren't getting tired?
No?
No. Okay. You speak right up when. Let me see here. Charles Gadwa was your grandfather.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
And he was married to Jeanette Harris.
And who?
Jeanette Harris? Is that right?
Her name was Alice Jeanette.
Alice Jeanette Harris. Was that her last name? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they had quite a big family.
There's 7.
I got Clara, and I got Nellie. Let me see. Clara and Bill were your mother and father. Yeah. Right?
Right.
And then Nellie, and she married Jack Greer. Then I've got Frank, and I got Leslie, and I got...
No. Let's stop there.
Stop there?
Frank married Bertha Koval.
Frank married Bertha Koval.
Bertha Koval.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta stop and get a...
Wait just a minute here. Lorette, can you find a tissue? I suppose must be one here. Oh, she's gonna take care of you. Oh, right there, Lorette. Right here. Oh, okay. Oh, those are gloves.
Oh, those are gloves? Oh.
I don't think she wants a glove for her nose, no. Here we go.
I'll put this one over in here.
We're learning a lot now. We're having a good time, Lorette.
Yes, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Isn't this wonderful?
Right.
Yeah. When did you say your birthday is? February 24th.
24th.
February 24th.
I after George Washington.
Shouldn't forget that, should I, huh? No, February 20, and you'll turn 95. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, we were going over all these people here.
You get to Frank.
Yep, we got Frank, married to Bertha Colville. Then I got Leslie,
That's right. That's right.
and I got Lena,
Mm-hmm.
and I got Leon. Is that right? Have I got that right? And, of course, Holly, that's Glee's father. And Glee told me that everybody just loved your grandfather.
Did.
She said everybody loved him.
I did.
I bet you did.
But I did. I was the oldest grandchild.
Well, I guess he probably thought you were pretty special.
I liked everybody.
He liked everybody. That's what Glee said. Yeah. And, most of those people, I guess, are gone. Yeah, they're gone. Yeah. But you must have noticed quite a change to move down there to Massachusetts after living out in Factory Village.
I'd been to visit my sister went to school, and I visited her.
You would go visit Edna.
And I visited when I got my aunt. I had relatives in Massachusetts.
So you weren't too surprised.
I was alone. I was alone.
No, didn't bother you. You weren't homesick.
No.
No, nothing like that. Yeah. Do you suppose you could tell me any of the Colebrook kids that went to school to you when you were teaching out at the Reed School and the Forbes School? Do you remember any of those? That's a tough one.
Well, I started Mrs. Charles Jackson. She was Edith Forbes.
I think we'll be able to hear if we're all here close like this.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
Mhm.
I do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Loretta, how do you know Miss Greer?
Well, she lived at Factory Village, and I also lived there. But I was very young, and my sister Nellie and Ethel were great friends. I don't think I remember Ethel from there because I'd been too young, but from hearing people talk. And then after Ethel moved to Colebrook, we got reacquainted.
I see.
Isn't that right, Ethel?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct. Well, when would that have been? When did you move back to Colebrook?
To move back to Colebrook to live. I didn't come back to Colebrook to live till 1962.
1962. And how did you happen to come back?
My aunt and uncle lived there, and I retired.
You retired and you came back to live with your aunt and uncle? And what were their names?
Jack and Nellie Greer.
Jack and Nellie Greer.
My brother and sister, my father and mother. Two sisters married two brothers.
Is that right?
Right.
Two sisters married two brothers. Guess we got talking doubles here. Yeah.
So that picture right up there.
That picture on the wall. Yes.
That's Charles Greer. He's my cousin. He's the only brother I ever knew because he was Uncle Jay's son, see? And my father and mother were Clara and Bill Greer.
They were Bill and
Clara
Clara.
Greer.
Were your mother and father?
That's right.
I see. And this fellow here would be on the wall. Who was he?
He was Uncle Jack's son,
And what's his name?
Charles.
Charles. Mm. Well, did they live on that farm down there in Vermont?
Yeah, he lived there 40 years.
Do you know where that is, Lorette? Down where
Didn't the buildings burn?
Yes.
Yes.
The first house below the bridge.
I can't seem to place it now. I remembered the old farm there and Jack Greer's farm, but I don't.
Was that down where the Ruthias lived?
Oh.
Ruthia?
Ruthia?
No.
No.
It's the first house below the bridge.
The Columbia Bridge?
When you go Columbia Bridge, you turn left when you go over the bridge. It's the first house.
You know who I think lived there? Could that have been the Gormans?
I believe so.
I think that was Marie
Marie
and Henry Gorman.
Marie and Henry Gorman.
And they had
Yes.
that big set of buildings there,
Yes.
and it all burned.
And it burned.
Right. And it burned. Yeah. Well, we got that straightened out. And that was where they lived. And then did they move up to the uptown?
Moved up the village.
And where?
After my cousin died, they couldn't farm alone. My uncle couldn't farm alone, so he sold out to the Gormans.
That's this fellow here when he died.
He died. He had what they call Lou Gehrig disease.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, that's an awful disease. The Lou Gehrig. Oh, it's
yeah.
terrible disease. Yeah. And his name was Charlie.
I don't remember.
Oh, and then you lived down there on Depot Street,
I still own that place.
and you still have it. She owns it.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
But before all that, Miss Greer, you lived out in Factory Village.
Right.
And can you tell us anything about that?
What do you want to know?
Okay.
What do you want? Can I help you?
Well, it was called Factory Village because there were two factories there.
What factories were those, Miss Greer?
One was a cotton factory,
A carding factory?
and the other was a starch factory.
And did you live right there? Did you live right there at the corner before Carlton Hill corner? At Carlton Hill corner?
You get coffee with there now. King coffee, that's how he is.
That's just what I thought. Yeah, he does live there. That's very good, yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a carding factory and a starch factory. Who owned the carding factory?
William Loomis.
Loomis? You've got a good memory. What was his first name? There was a James.
No.
Not James. There was a...
It's just a minute, I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
okay. Take your time. We're not in a rush.
Well, his name was Will Loomis.
Will?
Will Lewis.
Loomis.
Loomis.
L-O-M-I-S.
Yep.
Right.
And that was the carding factory?
He owns the cotton factory.
Well, how about that starch factory?
I don't know who owned the starch factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably was a company or something.
Yeah.
That was just across the bridge, you know, when you go down the Carlton Hill Road.
Sure. Yep.
After you cross the bridge, you turn left. The factory was on that bank.
Right on that bank. Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to play there until my mother first started.
She didn't want you out there.
Well, we didn't. It just wasn't safe because it was old, you see, and the timbers crawled down.
Yeah.
You lift up the chutes and play the stars.
Yeah, I got it. Yep. Well, that little house on the other side of the river, did one of the Carltons live in that?
Yes.
Which Carlton was that, I wonder?
Well, they all lived there at one time, I guess. There's the old Carlton place.
The old Carlton place.
And then when Ella Carlton married Charles Cisco.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he found.
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is very interesting. She's got a good memory.
Yeah,
Very good
always,
memory. Yeah.
always.
Yeah. What did your father do? Was he a farmer out there, or?
He did most everything. He's a day laborer.
Mm-hmm. And
He worked on a farm sometimes. Sometimes he worked, most of the time he worked on the Main Central Railroad.
he was on the railroad in Colebrook, right? In Colebrook?
Main Central line.
Right in Colebrook. Yeah. Yeah.
Lime Ridge.
Yeah. Well, you live almost across from there, the old site, don't you? On Depot Street.
From who?
Where you live on Depot Street is almost across from the old railroad station, isn't it?
That's exactly.
So it's almost like being home. You know?
No.
Yeah. Where did you go to school?
Colbert.
When you were a little girl, did you go to one of the country schools?
I went to school. If you traveled on the road, you noticed that all school had fell down.
What would be the name of that?
Factory school.
The fact. Did you go all 8 years there?
No, all but 1 year, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I went there since I went there in 1908. When I went to high school.
In Colebrook.
Colbert Academy. I graduated in 1919.
1919. How did you get into Colebrook Academy? Do you have to come in? Or do you have to walk?
No, we had a team who drove.
You drove. Who?
Nella's mother, Nella's sister. Loretta's sister drove, so.
Loretta's sister? Would she go in with you?
No. She was her own team.
She had her own team.
We had the McCann kids, two girls. And she carried Loretta, she carried Leo.
Your Loretta married Leo. Yes.
And he rode to school with Nellie.
And, Leo went to school with Nellie.
Rode to school.
Rode to school with Nellie Greer.
Leo went to school, rode Loretta's sister.
With your
Nellie Davis.
Nellie Davis.
Nellie Davis.
Yeah.
Her name was Davis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but you went to school out there at the Factory Village School as a little kid, and then you went in town. What would you do with your horse all day while you were at school?
We had a stall.
Did they have one right there at the school?
No. We had Park Street.
Up on Park Street? Yeah.
Right, the old kiddy house on Park Street.
I wonder where that is.
Well, there's a little brook goes down through there.
Yeah.
And it's the house before you get to the brook.
And you.
There used to be a cutoff. They call it Dugway.
Yeah.
You know they call it Dugway. You know why they called it the Dugway?
No.
Well, they wanted to run some mills over on Main Street. So they dug a hole, they cut out the bed.
Tough to hear these things. I just love them.
It is. I think it's very.
And my oldest son, he said, if I had time, I'd love to hear about the historical.
And my children, like his
Eldest son, he'll be interested in hearing all of this.
Who is your oldest son?
His name is Leo McKinnon Jr.
Oh, I don't know much about him.
No, I don't think.
I only know what my great dad was he goes over to see you.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes.
Well, I seem to be back in business, so we can talk. Can we just finish up about the schools? Yeah. We were going to talk about some of the kids you remember teaching, and you said at Reed School you remembered Edith, Forbes Jackson, and you said she was a wonderful student. Yes, and she was bright. And all those Forbes people, very good in their books.
I told you that one of them was one of the Ellen Forbes President General Electric.
Is that right? Now, what would his name have been, I wonder?
Howland, I think.
Howland. I bet you're right. Edith had a son named Howland. Yes, probably she named her son after him. Yeah. And it was Howland that was the president. Yeah.
He was Clarence Forbes.
And did you have him too?
No, I didn't have him.
No. You had Edith?
I didn't.
Yes.
So he was the youngest one.
Oh, so you missed out on those other folks. Yeah. Yeah. Well, how about out at the Forbes School?
No, he wasn't at the Forbes School.
That's the Forbes. Well, that was at the Forbes School. How about the Reed School?
I got my son at the Reed School.
Marion Reed?
Her sister, but she died. She got married, but she died. I can't remember when. To my brother,
No, you couldn't. No. That's the way it was out in those country schools. Those teachers weren't any older than the kids.
No,
No, it's
Yes, she must be Betsy and Marion Reed. Yes.
You had them in school.
Did you have those? Yes, we had them in school. Can't remember who. I can't remember what the boy's name was. Yeah, but they were boys too. Right.
Benny?
Ben. Glenn. Glenn, yeah.
Glenn.
And Bernie. Yeah.
We had those. No, but it had Do you think that, didn't you think that those small one-room schoolhouses did quite a big job? That's what I thought. You feel that way very strongly, that back then, the kids in those one-room schoolhouses learned from each other and what they could hear, and and the older kids helped the younger kids, and the teacher could oversee it all. Is that right? Yeah. Then, I know we've kept you much too long, but how do you like it here at the nursing home?
It's all right. I don't have any other home and some care.
Right.
I don't know of any better one.
No, and they're awfully good up here to everyone. That's kind, good. And what did you tell me about, I said, how's the food? And what did you say? I loved it. Nourishing. Well, I think we'll end on that note, because I think that's a very, that says it right there, very nourishing. Yeah, and our visit with you has been nourishing too. We've learned a lot. I've enjoyed it. This interview with Miss Ethel Greer was done at the nursing home, at the Coas Nursing Home, on January 17th, 1995. I am Ellie Gooch. Miss Greer had expressed an interest to the staff at the nursing home that she would like to share some of her remembrances of Colebrook with the oral history crew. The nursing home called the library, and we set up a date. I was fortunate that my friend and neighbor, Loretta McKinnon, said she would enjoy coming with me. And she was a tremendous help. Having her with me, I think, really put Miss Greer at ease. Miss Greer has eye problem and hearing problems, but her mind was so keen, and she had a delightful sense of humor. I really enjoyed doing this interview. When we got ready to leave and the interview was completed, Miss Greer said to us, "I'm sorry I can't walk you to the door." So you can see that was her, she had such a nice way.